All right, here's a little segment when I was on Big Steve's show, the very first time I was on. If you like it, click subscribe and hit a like and listen on. This was a good one, my very first time on the Big Steve show. There we go.
Nordy, how are you?
Steve, how are you?
Good, good.
Great. Just a couple quick questions. And thanks for having me on your show. Everybody kind of knows your relationship with Jerry over the years, traveling all the time. I'm imagining what Big Steve and Jerry's street tour shopping list might look like before you guys had to go on the road.
Well, that was, you never picture nothing in your hand, okay? Because we never prepared like that. In the early days, you threw some things in a bag or something and went out. As we realized it got more sophisticated at traveling, people got more gadgets and little gizmos to make travel easier and that kind of stuff.
Sure.
And then for a while even, I went out on the road and I would say, I'm going to take a change of clothes for every freaking day. Well, you know how heavy your suitcase would be if you did a 2-month tour, right? And you tried to keep it until finally when you came home, it was all dirty laundry, And that was one way I tried it, but that never worked. So we were lucky enough to be able to take a few things and throw them in a bag anytime. And then when we got on the road, the Grateful Dead always was there for all your needs, man. We got T-shirts on the road, so you just change your shirts like that, It was a bunch of us traveling together, so we shared a lot of things. If somebody didn't bring something, there was no way you could go down. The hotels we were staying at in the early days, you weren't going to get any amenities, There was no shampoos in the room or that kind of stuff like they have now. And so everybody shared. Everybody really shared a lot of stuff. And we roomed with each other, So you room with Phil, you room with Jerry, you room with somebody from the crew, And so you took care of what you needed. But we didn't. Jerry's suitcase of all of us was always the heaviest. I carried his suitcase. What the fuck I got in here, man? And it was books. He would load books into his suitcase to read sometimes, on a tour. He'd devour a book in an afternoon, man. He could speed read, And I think we just tossed him off.
I pictured you guys would have to pick up like 11 and a half dozen black triple XL T-shirts, and then
that's how it got later.
Red ones for the special night,
Exactly. It got like that later. It really did. We would get the T-shirts out there, and we sometimes just wanted those black shirts, so we got stacks of them. You're very true about that. We'd send runners out to hit the department stores and get us those kind of things out there. And that was a place, on the road was our home, and so we had all the
battery low. Please charge now.
Denied us any tools or anything we asked for to make the show go down the road better. We were never questioned on that, and so we had we were well supplied for any emergency at all. So yeah.
That sounds like a good way to travel, for sure.
But yeah, Jerry was fun to travel.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Sure. Yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead. Ask your question.
I want to ask you one more thing. The spring of '78 question.
Okay.
Today we're doing a lot of colleges as well as some of the normal venues like Onondaga and the Spectrum. There are small places like Thompson Arena at Dartmouth, and then of course RPI Rensselaer, which had one of the best other ones I've ever heard ever. Those places were smaller, like 3,500, 3,200. How did you have to scale down the equipment at the time, or did you just stuff the whole sound system into the smaller venues when you guys were on the road?
We tried to break it up, and so if you notice at some of those tours in '78, first on early parts when we went to Red Rocks and and Egypt and all that, that's a whole other thing in '78. But then the guys wanted to play some tight gigs. I remember the fall tour anyway, and we did bring smaller amount of gear to play Boston Music Hall, places like that, and Uptown Theater in Chicago. All those places were smaller, and we did bring, and even that Nashville Municipal Auditorium and things like that, all the way to San Diego. So we planned out a tour of that size hall. So we had the gear with us to fit. we could expand real easy if we needed to into a bigger place. But we tried in that year to make a scaled down trip so the guys could play those size again. So warmer morning,
it was jumping around. It would go from small venues back up to, the normal size venue they've been playing.
Yeah, that was because, they wanted contact with the audience. And if you play in those big places, man, it was always a thing of losing contact. When you're in stadiums, you're up so high on the stage and you're far away from everybody. So you start losing a little of that. And this is a band that started in nightclubs. We all did. And so you don't want to ever lose that. That was the beauty of the Garcia band. We still played nightclubs all the time, where we easily could have gone on to bigger places. And Jerry would say, "No, let's just do the clubs, man. We have so much fun here." We held ourselves back in a way. People who were career orientated would have said, "Oh no, man, you guys should be in there." They would come to tell me that all the time. "You guys should be playing here, this and that." But we kept it to where we wanted it.
So like the Jerry shows were fun because they were so much smaller in between all the other tours that you could jump on a little Jerry tour and see 6 or 7 shows and every other night over 2 weeks, and just all up and down in certain part of California or New York or wherever it happened to be.
Yeah.
I love those shows. They were amazing.
That was so much fun. I'm really glad we did all that together. That was fun.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, hey man, thanks for having me on your show. I'm glad you answered my questions. They were fun to ask. And I hope to see you around sometime. Thanks again, man.
Right, well, nice talking to you.
Nice talking to you.
Okay.
Okay, Nordy.
All right. Do we have another caller, Lauren?
We sure.
All right. That was my first talk with Big Steve on his Sirius XM radio show, and it was quite fun. If you like that one, go ahead right now and click on the next video with me talking with Big Steve. It's right above you. So click on and watch the next one.